अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रैः उक्तस्तथा भाव्यत एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्यः प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम्। यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्याप्रसादान्न गतिः कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्स्तुवंस्तस्य यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Sarvebhyo namaskaraha, sarvesham krite swagatam. Welcome to this session. Today we are talking about the 8th chapter of the Dashama skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. We're doing a quick recap. What did we listen to in the last session? We heard about how two asuras, Shakatasura and Trinavarta, they came to kill baby Krishna in Gokula in the house of Nanda, but by Krishna's compassion and kindness, both of them were given mukti. Of course, they cannot actually do anything to him, but the way in which he gives them mukti is very, very interesting to hear. And we listened to those narratives in the last session. And at the end of the last session, we also heard about the difference between Seva Bhav and Swartha Bhav. We asked the question, why is it that only the residents of Vraja are able to see God in this form? No one else can see him in that way. And we learned about the concept of Seva Bhav, very pure in Vraja. And that purity makes Krishna give himself in this way to the residents of Vraja. So what happens after that? As we continue with Krishna's Vraja Leela, here we have the story of Gargacharya. Gargacharya is a great sage. He is a descendant in the line of the sage Bharadwaj. And he is the Kula Guru of the Yadu Vamsha, to which Vasudeva and Nanda also belongs. And so as the Kula Guru, normally he is invited to perform the Namakarana Samskara. Now here Vasudeva knows that it is his child, Krishna, who is now in Gokul. And of course, his wife Rohini is also there, and through her, another child has been born, and both these children are living with Nanda. So he invites Gargacharya to go to Gokula to see Nanda, and Gargacharya does so. Nanda receives him with a lot of honor that is due to a great personality like him. He worships him and then offers his gratitude. He says that people like you, saintly people like you, come to our houses. We are grihasthas. We are family people. We are living in the family. We are lost in our normal material activities. When people like you come, it's a blessing because it reminds us of our spiritual identity, our spiritual responsibility, and so on. So after receiving him with worship and gratitude, he requests him to do the Namakarana Samskar for his two boys. What is meant by Namakaran? Namakaran is nothing but the naming ceremony of a child, a newborn child, and that is considered the fifth among the 16 samskaras in the Sanatana Dharma. The first samskara we heard is Garbhadhana Samskar, then we have Pumsavana Samskar, then the Simantonnayana Samskar, then Jataveda Samskara, and then the fifth one is Namakarana Samskar. In the Namakarana Samskar, the child is named. Normally, this happens a little after the child is born. Of course, in this case, several months have passed and they still haven't been formally named. They must be addressed by some informal names. And that's how it's going on. But now, formally, the naming ceremony has to happen. So Nanda requests Gargacharya to carry out the same. Subsequently, Gargacharya expresses caution in doing that. He says that, look, here Kamsa is looking out for children born recently because he has been told by Yoga Maya that the eighth child of Devaki is somewhere around. It has been born. It was not that girl that he tried to kill. When he found that girl in Devaki's room, that girl escaped, and that was Yoga Maya. It is not the eighth child of Devaki, but that eighth child is somewhere else, and it's now at large, and that's meant to be his killer. So Kamsa knows that, and Kamsa has ordered his servants, his people, to find that baby and kill that baby. Now, how do you ascertain it is that baby? So to solve that problem, Kamsa's solution was just kill all the babies. So all the babies recently born, go and kill them. And that's going on. So therefore, if now I perform the Namakarana Samskar for this child, then Kamsa will suspect that this is Vasudeva's child. And he will then target your child. Now here, as Garga says this, we should keep in mind that Nanda does not know that that child that he has and he thinks is his child is actually not his child. It's actually Vasudeva's child. But Nanda does not know that. Vasudeva knows that and Gargacharya also knows that. But Nanda does not know that. He thinks that it is his child born to Yashoda Ma. And so he understands what Garga says and he says, yes, what you're saying is true. If you do the Namakarana Samskar openly, then people will know that you have done it, and you being the Acharya of the Yaduvamsha, Kamsa will come to suspect that this child might be the eighth child of Devaki and might target him. So saying that, thinking that way, Nanda suggests to Gargacharya that, okay, in that case, why don't we do it clandestinely? And let's do it in the Goshala without anyone's knowing. So we will not invite anybody, only you, our wives, my wives, and yourself, and the children, the two children will be present. So Gargacharya is very happy with this suggestion, and because he knows who that child is, he also knows who Balaram is, of course. And so knowing everything in truth, he knows the entire truth. So he is very happy because he wanted to do that only. And he has come with that intention. So now that Nanda also has suggested this, he says, yes, let's do it. Subsequently, Gargacharya does the Namakarana for both the children, the child of Rohini and the child of Yashodama. Shri Garga Uvacha Ayam hi Rohini Putro Ramayan Suhrudo Gunaihi Akhyaasyate Rama iti Baladhikyad Balam Viduhu Yadunama Pratagbhavat Sankarshanamupshantyapi. So he is now referring to the child of Rohini. He says, this child, which is Rohini Putra, is born to Rohini. He will be known as Rama. The first name that he will get is Rama. Why? Because Ramayan, for all his dear people, the people around him, that is yourself, then the gopas with whom he will play, the gopis, the cows, he will make them very happy. And because he always brings happiness to them, he will be known as Rama. Rama comes from the Ram Dhatu. Ramate means to feel pleasure or feel happiness in Sanskrit. So making them all happy, this child will be known as Rama. Then he will also be known as Bala because Baladhikyata, he will be extremely strong. He will have excessive strength compared to anybody else. He will have much more strength. And so he will also be known by the name Bala. So he'll be known as Rama. He'll also be known as Bala. And of course, today we address him as Balarama, the Rama who was also very powerful. Yadunam aprithak bhavat sankarshanam ushantyapi. So this Rama, he is also known as a person who brought the closeness between two families even more. That is, he is known to be the son of Vasudeva, but he is brought up in the house of Nanda. So it's publicly known because Rohini is the wife of Vasudeva and she's staying with Nanda because of Kamsa's threats. And so everybody knows that he is the child of Vasudeva, but living in Nanda's house. So because of this arrangement, the two families become even closer. If one person's child is growing up in another person's house, naturally the two families will become even closer. So Sankarshana, Akarshan, the force of attraction, he brings the two families closer. So he is also known as Sankarshana. So he'll be known outside as Sankarshana. People will call him by that name. So here Gargacharya lists three names of the Rohini's child, and then more popularly he came to be known as Balarama. Of course, in the Bhagavata he is addressed by different names. Rama is a common name by which he is addressed. Then, going forward, Asan varnastrayo hyasya granhato nuyugam tanuhu shuklo raktastatha pita idanim krishnatam gatah. So now he is referring to the child of Yashodama. This shloka in Bhagavata is very famous because here In this first shloka, he says, this child, referring to the child of Yashodama, he says that this child has or had three colors. This is the fourth color that he is taking. He is coming in the fourth complexion. He has been born earlier in three complexions. He is referring to three other complexions. He says, in different yugas, he appears in different complexions. He has been born in Shukla Varna, white complexion, very fair complexion in some yuga in the past. Satya Yuga, as the Vyakya commentators say, in Rakta, in a reddish complexion, in Treta Yuga, in some other yuga, Pita, in a golden complexion, in some other yuga, and now Idanim Krishnatam Gataha. Now he has obtained the complexion of dark cloud. Krishna means dark complexion, like a complexion of what we say black. We say blacks, no? Dark people. So he's having that complexion. Actually, it's described that he's Neela Megha Shyama. His complexion was that of the dark rain cloud when lightning strikes behind it. So there is a bluish tint that is seen. It's black basically, but behind the black, there is a bluish tint, a shining, glossy bluish tint is seen. So his complexion is compared to that. Of course, these are all material comparisons, and it's not possible to describe Sri Bhagavan in our own words. It's only possible to experience him by cultivating the required purity. So we can only describe like this through whatever language we have, and that's the best we get to know about it as of now. So this child had three other complexions earlier, and now it's coming in the fourth complexion, that is Krishnatam Gataha. Then he moves forward. Pragayam Vasudevasya Kvachit Jatastavatmajaha Vasudeva iti Shriman Abhikyaha Samprachakshate. So the knowledgeable people also know that he was earlier a son of Vasudeva. So again, Gargacharya, although he knows that even now he was born as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he does not directly say it, but indirectly he says that this child was earlier born to Vasudeva, and he was therefore known as Vasudeva. He's also known as Vasudeva because he has a relationship to Vasudeva also. So he hints to him, and there is a connection to Vasudeva as well. Bahuni santi namani रूपाणि च सुतस्यते गुणकर्मानुरूपाणि तान्यहं वेद नो जनाः. In fact, your child is special. He has had many other forms earlier. He has come in many other forms. And these forms are according to different gunas and karmas. He displays different types of qualities and he does different types of activities in different births, in different appearances. So Gargacharya knows all the different avatars in which Sri Bhagavan has appeared earlier, and he knows that this is Sri Bhagavan himself. So he says, Tanyaham Veda Sarvani, means I know all of them. No Janaha, the people don't know. Nobody else knows. I know different janmas in which he has come before. So in this way, indirectly, Gargacharya reveals to him that this is a very special child. Esha Vashreya Adhasyat Gopa-Gokulanandanaha Anena Sarva Durgani Yuyam Anjastarishyatha. So this child actually is so special that it will bring you, and not only you, but all the Gopas and those who are living in the Gokula, the cows, the calves, the animals, everything, all the creatures living in the Vraj Bhumi. He will bring a lot of auspicious good fortune to them. And because of him, Sarva Durgani Yuyam Anjastarishyata, means because of him, you will overcome so many different obstacles. You will have difficulties, but all those difficulties you will be able to overcome very easily. You will be able to cross over those difficulties very easily. So in this way, Gargacharya also indirectly tells us that if we bring Sri Bhagavan into our lives, if we bring Krishna into our life, then difficulties will not go away, but we will be able to overcome those difficulties. Difficulties will come when they have to come, but we will be able to overcome them quite comfortably, quite easily. We'll be able to cope with them comfortably. Having Krishna in our presence makes life totally different. So he then explains in many more shlokas. In the past, he says he has protected this child when he appeared or he was born in the past. He has protected the society against ruthless dacoits. And those who develop a loving bond with him will always feel protected and be happy. They will not feel insecure. They will not feel threatened. They will know that even if they are in a very dangerous situation, he will come to their protection. He will show them a way out. He will do something by which they will be safe and they will be happy. So, this loving bond between you and him and anybody else who develops a loving bond with him will get this benefit. Once again, Gargacharya is speaking to us through Nanda. He says he's equal to Sri Narayana. He doesn't say he is Sri Narayana himself, or philosophically, he is the source of Sri Narayana. Sri Bhagavatam says, Etecha amshaha kalapumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. Says this child is actually the source of all the different avataras. He's the avatari, means he's the source of the avataras. So he's actually the source of Narayana also. Gargacharya knows that, but he doesn't say that. He just says he's equal to Narayana in qualities, in his wealth, in his Shri, in his beauty, in his fame. He'll become very famous, and in the influence that he has on other people. Everybody will flock around him. So hearing all this, which father will not be pleased? So Nanda, very, very pleased to hear this. But he, despite getting all these hints from Gargacharya, he does not suspect that his child is actually Sri Bhagavan himself. He remains ignorant of the actual identity. So after all this, after the Namakarana Samskar is over, Gargacharya leaves, blessing the family, and then what happens? So the bulk of the 8th chapter, I beg your pardon. The bulk of the 8th chapter, Sri Vasudevji describes the very, very enchanting leelas performed by the two children, Krishna and Balaram, as they grew up. Now, during the Namakarana Samskara, they are still crawling. They have not yet stood up. They're still crawling on the ground. So after the Namakarana, they continue to crawl. They roll in the mud of Vraja. They're playing, they throw the mud upon each other, they get wet. They are not, you see, the way that Bhagavan is known to us normally, we see Bhagavan in the temple. We don't see him rolling in the mud. He's standing there, he's being worshipped. Everybody is bowing down to him, chanting stuti, doing stuti for him, asking him for different types of boons. And everybody sees Bhagavan as something like that. But in Vraja, the people in Vraja see him like this. They don't know that he is Bhagavan. He's crawling and rolling in the mud of Vraja. And the two mothers, obviously, a mother's job is to ensure that the child is safe. And all the time, a mother is thinking, especially when the baby is small, the mother knows that the baby is now completely dependent upon me. The mothers are always looking at the child and carefully watching where the child is, what it's doing. So these two mothers are all the time immersed in anxiety. What is this guy going to do next? What are these people? Where are they going to fall? What's going to bite them? Where are they going to get lost? So these descriptions of Sri Vasudevji show how Sri Bhagavan performed his activities like a normal human baby in both his forms. Actually, Krishna and Balaram are both uh, Krishna only. They're both Krishna in two different forms. Krishna's expansion is Balaram. So how Bhagavan performed these activities there, as if he's a normal human child. It's described sometimes, they would go behind a person. Some stranger would be walking on the road and they would just go behind him for some distance playfully. And the stranger would not know that the children are coming behind. Okay, sometimes this happens. And then the children would, after some time, realize that that stranger is actually a stranger and not their father or somebody. Initially, they probably thought like that. So then they realize and then they are confused and then they turn around and they come running back and they are now very anxious to find their mother. They come running back to their mother and the mothers are watching all this and they feel so much love for the child. They pick the child and they kiss the child and so on. And in this way, they sometimes go and play with the deer, they go and play with the peacocks, they go and play with the monkeys, they go and play with the cows, they go and go to a well and they peep inside, about to fall inside the well. The mothers have to run and catch them to prevent them from falling inside. They go near thorny plants. Everything that happens, everything that normal human children in a village do, they do all that. And the mothers are just watching, and 24 hours they're thinking about them. The gopis also, it's not only these two mothers, but the other gopis also who are watching all this, they find this very enchanting, very, very pleasing, even more pleasing than the activities of their own children. That is what comes out again and again in the chapters, that the gopis became more attached to Krishna and Balaram than to their own children. So the boys play with all the animals, the cows, the calves, the monkeys, the peacocks, the deer, the dogs. We will hear more how Krishna and Balaram used to go and catch the tails of the cows. And the cows would then run thinking that some monkey or something has caught my tail. And then the boys would laugh when that happens. They would playfully laugh as the cows drag them around. So the gopis and the mothers, they find immense happiness in watching all this. And this is described in great detail, and the original should be read to really appreciate the beauty of this. Eventually, one day, they all gather to complain against Krishna's mischief. And Krishna has, uh, he's known among the two of them, Krishna is known to be more mischievous. And the gopis, even though they get so much pleasure, there's also so much anxiety he causes to them. So they complain to Mother Yashoda. They tell her that, look, this child, once they catch him and then they drag him, they bring him straight to Mother Yashoda, in front of Mother Yashoda, and they make him stand there. And they say, now look, you're going to receive justice for all the stupid things you have done. So they tell Mother Yashoda, look, he does things with no other child does. For example, he comes to our house, he figures out where the buttermilk, the curd, and everything is kept, and he's very fond of those things. He figures out where they are kept. We have actually made them hang on the ceiling, we've hidden them here and there, but he knows where they are kept. And very cleverly, he finds out how to reach them. He places boxes on top of boxes, he climbs on them, and he knows exactly how to get them. He puts his hand inside, turns the pot upside down, or he throws something at the pot, makes a small hole, just enough for the thing to leak out that even we cannot find out that there is a hole. And then he sucks it as it comes out. Sometimes he takes out the butter and feeds it to the monkeys. And the monkeys, obviously, they are looking for food. So they are very happy to get this. So, and when he sees us, he immediately gets out and starts running. And he starts pretending as if he didn't do anything. So this happens again and again. And when we try to stop him, he goes to our babies and he pinches them and they start crying. So when we are attending to the babies, he is back to doing this mischief. So in this way, he drives us mad and we have no peace of mind, even though your child is so pleasing and so gives us so much joy, but we should now tell you the truth. This is the truth about your child. Your child is exceptional. No other child does this kind of thing. And now look at this fellow. He's standing here. He looks so innocent. Look at the expression on his face. It looks like he has not done anything, and we are complaining falsely about him. Look at him, just look at him. So Yashoda looks at him, and Yashoda sees him exactly like that. He's standing there like a statue, not moving anything. His head is down, his eyes are closed, and full of fear. He's got a fearful expression. He's got, now Amma is going to beat me, that kind of an expression. And when she looks at that, she melts. She's now preparing to scold him, but now when she looks at him, she melts in love and kindness. And then she tells the gopis, okay, okay, I will take care of him. I'll tell him not to do. You please go. And after they go, she picks him up and she embraces him and kisses him. So she says, why do you do this, Krishna? Why do you create these problems for me? And then it's over. And again, Krishna is back to that. So this mischief, again, Sri Vyasdevji describes beautifully. This occupies a good portion of the 8th chapter of the Dashama skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, one fine day, Ekada Kridamanaste Ramadya Gopadarakaha Krishno Mridam Bhakshitavan Iti Matre Nevedayan. So one day, the boys, the Gopas, along with Balarama, not just the boys, but Balarama also is among them. Ramadhyaha Gopadarakaha, the boys, the sons of the Gopas, when they're all playing, they come running to Mother Yashoda. They came running to Mother Yashoda and they said, Krishno Mridam Bhakshitavan. Krishna has eaten mud. Iti matre nevedayan. They told her, Krishna has eaten mud. They come running. Okay, just like we see normal children playing, suddenly one child, let us say, falls down, okay, or falls into a pit. Then all the other children will go to the mother or the father of the child and say, Uncle, uncle, auntie, look, look, so and so has fallen there in the pit. Please come, please come. Okay, something like that. So they go and say, look, auntie, Krishna has eaten mud. You have to tell you. Now, Yashoda already has been hearing complaints. So she rushes to Krishna. Sagrihitva kare Krishnam upalabhya hitaishini Yashoda bhaya sambranta prekshanaksham abhashata. So she runs to Krishna, she catches hold of his hand, grihitva kare, Krishna mupalabhya, she scolds him immediately, hitaishini, because she intends good for him. She is a mother, right? So every mother intends good for him. So out of intending good for him, she scolds him. You rascal, what have you done now? She scolds him. And then bhaya sambranta prekshanaksham. His eyes are filled with fear again. He is now fully scared because his mother has caught him. He's been doing something. He didn't expect his mother will come. Suddenly she's there and she's caught hold of his hand and his eyes are full of fear. And she's telling him, Kasman mridam adantatman bhavan bhakshitavan rahah vadanti tavakakhyete kumaraste grajopyayam. Why on earth? Kasman mridam adantatman bhavan bhakshitavan raha. Oh, indisciplined fellow. Adanta atman. Adanta means a disciplined person. A person who is well regulated, who knows, every aspect of his life is disciplined, when to eat, what time to get up, what time to go, having a bath. Everything is well planned and executed in a disciplined manner. There is no indiscipline in his life. That is a danta. Danta is considered to be a danta, is considered to be a great quality in anybody, and particularly in those who aspire for spiritual life. And you would expect God to be like that. But in this form, when God appears, he is everything but that. So she's scolding him, Oh, indisciplined fellow, why on earth have you eaten mud? Why did you do this rahaha in a solitary place? You have gone alone somewhere and quietly you have eaten mud. Why have you done that? Have I trained you to do that? Who has trained you to do that? Vadanti tavaka hyate. I am not saying this. Your own friends are saying this. I am not fine. I didn't see you eating mud. Your friends are saying this. Tava agrajopyayam. Not only other boys, but your own best friend, your brother, your own elder brother is saying this. Agrajopi evameva vadati. So tell me now, why have you eaten mud? Shosi pulls him up. Naham bhakshitavanamba sarve mithyavishamsinaha yadi satya yadi satyagirastarhi samaksham pashya me mukham. So he tells her, Naham bhakshitavan amba. Oh, Amma, Amba. Amba means Ma, Amma. Naham bhakshitavan. I have not eaten mud. I have not eaten mud. Okay, he is now almost about to cry. His eyes are almost full of tears and they are not false tears, genuine tears. He is not pretending. Okay, he genuinely feels like that. Sarve mithya vishamsinaha. All these boys are just lying. They are telling lies. But yadi satya girahai, but if you think satya girah, if you think that what they said is true, then samaksham pashya me mukham, then please examine my mouth thoroughly. You yourself examine. If you think that what they said is true, then please examine my mouth thoroughly. Please examine. I am telling you that what they said is completely false. I have not eaten mud at all. Yadyevam tarhi vyadehi ityuktasya bhagavan harihi व्यादत्ता व्याहतैश्वर्यः क्रीडा मनुजबालकः. Mother Yashoda replied, Okay, if you say so, then now open your mouth right away. Okay, let me see. Open your mouth. Open your mouth. So Ityuktaha, spoken to by Mother Yashoda in this manner, Sa Bhagavan Hari, that Bhagavan Hari, it says Avyahata Ishwarya, means one whose Aishwarya, whose Ishwarata, Ishwara Bhav, is actually Ishwara. He is not an ordinary human being. Vyahata, Avyahata Aishwarya, one whose Aishwarya remains intact. Even when he does activities like this, it is not that he has been demoted. It is not that some force has acted upon him and actually he was Bhagavan earlier, but because of some pap that he did, as now he has become an ordinary human child and now he has to suffer like this. No, he is Avyahata Aishwarya. He is always Ishwara. So that Ishwara, but he is the Ishwara who is Krida Manuja Balakaha, who has now taken the form of a human child. Krida Manuja Balakaha. Manuja Balakaha means a human child, playfully, Krida. Out of his Krida, he is now acting like a human child. Vyadatta. So she said, Vyadehi means open your mouth. Vyasdevji says, Vyadatta. He opened his mouth. She said, open your mouth. He said, okay, open. I opened my mouth. Very obediently, he opened his mouth. What happened after that? Yashoda Ma saw the entire universe in her child's mouth. What did she expect to see? She expected to see some mud in his mouth. She saw the space, the outer space. She saw the directions. She saw the mountains. She saw islands. She saw oceans. She saw the entire earth. She saw the force of wind. She saw the Vayu Devata. She saw the forces of lightning. She saw Agni. She saw the moon. She saw the entire Milky Way. She saw a huge amount of water in his mouth. She saw all the devatas in his mouth. And she saw the various subtle elements. Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankara iti meso mano buddhi ahankara, and even the source of those things, mahattattva, prakriti, all of those subtle elements she saw which constitute this material universe. So she expected to see a little bit of mud in his mouth because she was convinced that this fellow is lying. She's endlessly heard so many complaints against him, and she almost certainly knows that whatever they say is definitely true. But now, when she opens his mouth, she sees completely something different from what she expected to find, and she sees the entire universe there. So you can imagine what a shock she must have experienced. So now she goes into a spiral of thinking. Kim swapna etadutadev maya, kim va madiyo bata buddhimohaha, atho amusyaiva mamarbhakasya yakkascha nautpattika atma yogaha. So she's thinking, what is this? Am I dreaming? Kim swapna etat uta deva maya, or is it some divine maya? Some devata has created some maya for me, some magic. Or is it something that my child has? Vata buddhi moha, because of my buddhi, my, my intelligence has got spoiled. Or atho amushya eva mama arbhakasya kaschana outpattika atma yoga. Maybe this child has got some samskara, some past magical powers, and by his magical powers he's making me look like this, making me think like this or experience this. Is it that? अथो यथा वन्न वितर्कगोचरं चेतो मनःकर्मवचोभिरञ्जसा यदाश्रयं येन यतः प्रथीयते सुदुर्भिभाव्यं प्रणतास्मि तत्पदम्. Sometimes when we are put into a very confounding situation in life, we become philosophical. Often people who normally don't accept about God, or even if they think that there is God, they don't normally think about God. When some very strange situation comes in life, their thought goes to God. They become philosophical. So Yashoda Ma now becomes philosophical because she's suddenly in a situation she's not able to just comprehend. So she says that, well, there are phenomena, there is a supreme being who cannot be perceived with our mind, with our senses, with any kind of logic, is beyond logic, and from whom, that supreme being from whom everything comes. There is one such supreme being somewhere, and I bow down to that supreme being, that supreme force. He is the cause of everything. And so, whatever I'm experiencing now, also, I'm not able to understand what this is, but obviously, there is a supreme being who knows what is going on. So, from that supreme being, everything comes, everything goes back into him, everything is in his refuge. And I just bow down to that person. May he protect me. अहम ममासौ पतिरेष मे सुतो व्रजेश्वरस्याखिलवित्तपासति गोप्यश्च गोपाः सह गोधनाश्च मे यन्माययेत्थं कुमतिः समे मतिः समे गतिः. अहम ममासौ पतिरेष मे सुतो व्रजेश्वरस्याखिलवित्तपासति गोप्यश्च गोपाः सह गोधनाश्च मे यन्माययेत्थं कुमतिः समे गतिः. She's humbled actually. Out of humility, she realizes that what she actually is not what it seems to be outside. She says, I'm caught up in an existence where I think of myself, me, I, all this belongs to me, Mama, this is my husband, the king of Gokula, Nanda Maharaj. I am the queen, Rajeshwari, and all this wealth in Gokula belongs to us. It belongs to me as the queen. And these gopas, these gopis of Vraja, they're all under my subjugation. They all listen to what I say. All their so many calves, the bulls, they all belong to us. I'm the queen of this small kingdom. So I am caught up in this kind of thinking. Okay, indirectly, this shloka actually points to us how we are caught up in our own possessive mentality. We think that so many things belong to us. Whereas actually, in reality, nothing belongs to us. So she's thinking like that. She's now realizing the situation has caused her to reflect and realize that there is actually one supreme Ishvara to whom everything belongs, everything comes from that Ishvara, everything goes back into him. But because of our own delusion, we think that we are this, we are that, everything belongs to us, everything is under us, we control this, we control that. All that is false. So that same Maya which makes me feel that way is the one that is making me now see all this in my baby's mouth. That Maya is making me see all this. So I am nothing but just a small, humble fragment which is subject to Maya. This Maya is making me so helpless. Itham vidita tattvayam gopikayam sa ishvaraha Vaishnavim vyatanot mayam putra snehamayim vibhuhu. So now as she's thinking in this manner, she's holding that Supreme Ishvara in her own hands. So what did he do? Itham vidita tattvayam. Upon this lady who was thinking like this, upon this Gopika. Gopika is Mother Yashoda. Sa Ishvaraha, this Ishvara who is standing with her. Vaishnavim mayam vyatanot. He now threw his Vaishnavi Maya upon her. Just a moment before, his Mahamaya was acting, making her see that universe and everything. Now, his Vaishnavi Yoga Maya immediately acted upon her, and then she instantly forgot that. She's going through a situation like that, and she developed Putra Sneha. Her love for her child again came out. She started thinking about her child as her child. And that mother's love at once took over. Sadyo nashtasmritir gopi saropyarohamatmajam pravriddasneh kalila hridayasit yathapura. So under the influence of that Vaishnavi Maya, Sadyo nashtasmritihi, her memory of that universe that she saw inside her baby's mouth washed away. It was gone. Sadhya means immediately. Instantly that universe she forgot, and then she saw just her own child, and that love of her child overtook her. And then she took that child on her lap and embraced him. Pravriddha sneha kalila hridaya asit. So huge amount of love for her child. She became overcome by that emotion of love for the child, and she embraced the child just like before, yathapura. Traya chopanishadbhischa Sankhya yogaischa satvataihi upagiyamana mahatmyam harim samanyatatmajam. So Vyasdev ji now comments on this. He says the three Vedas, that is Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, three Vedas, and the Upanishads in them, and Sankhya and Yoga. Sankhya refers to Vedanta philosophy, which is in the Upanishads, and Yoga refers to Bhakti Yoga or Karma Yoga. The Sattvatas means the followers of Krishna. They all worship him with all these yogas, these Vedanta philosophy, and the hymns of the Vedas and so on. And they sing his glories, they point out about his greatness, etc. That personality, this gopi, this village woman, this gopi, thought was just an ordinary village child, was her child. That was what? Was her good fortune. So then King Parikshit asks after he says this, that what did they do? What did Nanda and Yashoda do? A very similar question to what he asked in the previous chapter. that even the best of yogis, there's so much tapasya performed to see even a glimpse of that Vishwarupa, that Vishwapurusha, right? People, they struggle, they do tapasya when they realize that this human life is not the ultimate thing that we can get something much higher. They go away and then they sit for countless years. They experience a lot of joy in doing that. That's why they do it. But even as they experience that joy, they undertake enormous amount of tapasya because they want to just get a minute glimpse of that great personality. And we hear in the Bhagavata so many different narratives. We heard about the narrative of Narada Muni. When Narada was cursed to be a child of a Shudra woman, eventually his mother dies and then he goes away. And then he's searching because he now knows about Bhagavan. So he's searching for that Bhagavan. And after a great deal of tapasya, he gets to have a glimpse of that Bhagavan for a brief while. And then Bhagavan goes away after that. It's not easy. So even the best of yogis just get a minute glimpse of him, and they don't see him so easily. But Nanda and Yashoda, they just had him all the time as their child, and they could scold him, tie him up, beat him, do whatever they wanted with him, right? And they could show enormous amount of love and experience the love in return from him. They were immersed in that love. So what did they do? So Sri Brahma, I mean, sorry, Sri Shukamuni or Shukadev ji, he does not give the full answer here. That answer is revealed eventually of Uttama Bhakti. Uttama Bhakti is not revealed in the answer given here. He just says that in the previous life, they were earlier known as Drona. Drona was a Vasu. Okay? Vasu refers to a class of beings. It's called Ashtavasus. There are 8 Vasus, and they are a particular class of devatas. Devatas में बहुत classes हैं. There are different classes of devatas. None of them are called vasus. So vasus are a certain type of devatas who perform different types of functions. They're very dharmic people, and among them there was one vasu called Drona. It's different from Dronacharya, who comes in Mahabharata. And his wife's name was Dhara. And they were so genuine, they were so pure hearted, and they were doing different types of service, and they did a lot of tapasya to please Sri Brahma Deva, and they were blessed by Brahma. They requested him that they want to be born in Vrajbhumi and do Ananya Bhakti to Bhagavan. So with that prayer, they were blessed by Brahma that they would obtain such a birth, and then they are born as parents of Sri Krishna in this birth. This is what Shukamuni says at the end of the 8th chapter. But actually, in Tattva, we also know that they are Nitya Parikaras, means Nanda and Yashodama are not just being born just because of some past karma, but they are Nitya Siddha. Nitya Siddha means they don't have to do sadhana to attain Bhagavan. They already are with Bhagavan all the time, and when he comes and he shows his Leela to us, they also manifest. He manifests them also. Of course, without the memory of what they actually are, he manifests them and they experience a natural parenthood or Vatsalya bhav towards this child. So essentially, this chapter, as with other chapters, points out to us that human birth that we are in is not for just surviving or not for just experiencing a comfortable existence. It is because only in human birth we can ask the question about the purpose of existence, the purpose of life. In no other species we find this question being raised, that what is the purpose of our life? What is the purpose of existence? In human beings, we have this question coming up. What is the purpose of life? What is the goal of life? Where is it that, or how is it that we can obtain true, genuine, permanent happiness? So these chapters or these granthas remind us that human birth is meant for this. It's meant to inquire into this question of permanent happiness, find the way and pursue that path. And that path in the Bhagavata is revealed to be Uttama Bhakti. Bhakti which is completely pure, Bhakti which is free from all desire for personal sensual enjoyment. Rather, Bhakti done only for the pleasure of Bhagavan. By pleasing Bhagavan, everything gets taken care of. All the obligations that we have towards this universe is taken care of in the matter of doing seva to Bhagavan. So this is the purpose of Bhagavata, and this is the purpose of listening to these narratives of Bhagavan. And with these words, I will stop for today, and I would like to hear your comments, your questions, your realizations, your insights, and so on. I'll just unmute you, and then I would invite you to speak. You can raise your hand or you can start speaking, unmute yourself and start speaking as and when you have something to ask. Yeah, Chinmay, please.
Sir, as you mentioned at the end, human birth is meant to be the gateway to permanent happiness. So, sir, what all means processes or techniques are there in the Vedic scriptures and all, which we can perform while pursuing our daily life or daily routine, so that we are parallelly on this particular path towards the realization of the permanent happiness as such. That is my first question.
Okay, yeah. Very relevant question. It's something that we ought to ask and keep asking. It's not just once that you should ask this. You should keep asking this as you go forward. This question, the broad answer is this, that the Veda and the Puranas, all the Shastra, that what we call Shastra, the Indian knowledge system as it's formally called today, is filled with so many processes. The very broad term for all these processes is yajna. Yajna is that which is performed to connect with the Supreme, to connect with our real self inside, to look inside. That is called yajna. Okay, now this broad term has many connotations and it's applied in different ways to attain happiness. All yajna is aimed at going towards a goal which gives us happiness. Okay, now very broadly speaking, yajna can be of two types. Very, very broadly speaking. First type is for fulfilling our material desires in a very dharmic manner. Okay, this is dharma sangata kama. When we say dharma sangata kama, we fulfill our material desires in alignment with dharma without doing anything adharmic. So there is a lot of content in the Veda. It's called karma kanda, which is given to fulfill kamya karma, which is also called kamya karma, and which helps us to fulfill our kama, our material desires. Now, that apart is yoga. Yoga is where we decide that pursuing our material desires, desire for material enjoyment, is not the goal of life, although we do need to take care of it to be able to live in a stable manner. But that's not the real pursuit of life. There is yoga. Yoga takes us beyond material enjoyment into the world of Bhagavan himself, who is free from dependence upon matter, who is content within himself. So, how can we become Atmaram? How can we discover contentment within ourselves without looking for matter externally? This is yoga. So, yoga is the path, and yoga again is very broad. There are so many different practices of yoga, the way in which you contemplate upon Bhagavan, the way in which you relate to that supreme being. Okay, we say Bhagavan, somebody else says Paramatma, somebody says Brahma, somebody says Ishvara. So many different words are used because they think of Bhagavan in different ways. Now, among the different parts of yoga, because to make my answer very consolidated, the best is considered to be Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti is distinct from all other forms of yoga because Bhakti is that path of yoga in which we understand Bhagavan as a person with whom we can have a relationship. And that is said to be in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Bhagavatam, the most complete understanding of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is also an individual, is an entity like us. It's not merely some energy, but an individual. And so in Bhakti, the path guides us to think about Bhagavan in that manner, as a complete personality with whom we can have a relationship. Like the way we are hearing now, Yashoda, Nanda, and the Gopas, Gopis, Vasudeva, Devaki, they all have a personal relationship with Bhagavan. Some of them know it's Bhagavan, some of them don't know it's Bhagavan, but all of them have that personal bond, that loving bond. So Bhakti Yoga is that path which takes us and helps us to develop that loving bond with Bhagavan by different practices. Bhakti Yoga is filled with so many different practices. The most basic among them is number one is chanting the name of Bhagavan, Harinam Japa. Harinam Japa is considered the best among the yajnas. Japa is the best yajna. Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says this. Among all the yajnas, I am Japa Yajna, means the best among the yajnas. So in Kali Yuga specifically, Harinama Japa, not just the Japa of the name of any deity or anything, but Japa of Krishna's name, Krishna or Rama, same Bhagavan in different forms. Doing Japa of his name. Japa means what? Reciting that name and listening to it again and again in the best way possible. Okay, with due protocols. Protocols are followed for chanting or doing Japa. That is the most basic practice. Accompanying japa are all supporting practices like reading the grantha, reading all the grantha pertaining to Bhagavan, like Bhagavatam, Vishnu Puran, so many different Puranas, Mahabharata, Ramayana. Reading them, because as we read them, we contemplate upon, we get to know his personality, his qualities, his beautiful form, his thinking. How does he think? All this becomes clear as we read and contemplate upon the granthas. Philosophically, we become very clear. Our conviction becomes more strong, conviction becomes stable. So, reading the grantha, then listening to others, discussing with others, offering our food to him, visiting his temple, doing seva in the temple, associating with people like us who are also doing similar things. And of course, along with all this is internal purity. It's not just external. All of these I said are externally visible activities, but the most basic, of course, along with japa, nama japa does not work if we don't do internal cleansing. Internal genuineness, if it's not there, everything fails. So everything is based on that internal, genuineness, nishkapatta, whereby we look inside and say that, okay, I will be 100% genuine in what I speak, what I do, in all the activities I conduct, and so on. So this is Bhakti Yoga, and this is the answer to your question. I know it was long, but the shortest I could make was this. So please do Bhakti Yoga, and then you will be on the path to attaining Bhagavan.
Thank you, sir.
You said that's your first question. So what is your second question?
Sir, my second question is, as you mentioned, the means means as of now, means you said the purpose of human birth is towards moving towards or understanding the God, or moving towards the permanent happiness.
Yeah.
So sir, is it a generic goal of human birth, or it's like it's we can say that it's a higher goal, overarching goal, and each human goes through different what I would say challenges and struggles. So is it that he or she takes multiple births before achieving that overarching goal, and each birth has different purpose and they are just the milestones of that overarching goal? How can we look about it?
The overarching goal is, yes, to find that perfect happiness which resides within ourselves and which is attained through connection with Bhagavan. That is the overarching goal. We are meant to attain that in the shortest time possible. It is not that we have to go through multiple births. Multiple births happen primarily in this world because of our karma, because of things which we do, for which we have to get a positive or negative outcome, punya or papa. So to experience that punya and papa, we get more births. Now, that is the default condition. Of course, those who become bhaktas also get further births because they want to do seva. So, Bhagavan gives them that birth in which they can do seva and strengthen their bhakti. Or if they are already in pure bhakti, like people like Nanda Yashoda, they get further births when he comes to assist him in his seva. So, in different ways, further births come. But further births are not a mandatory thing. It's not that we have to take further births to do different types of goals, to achieve different types of goals. No. Once we align ourselves to that perfect goal, then we just move along that goal only towards that one goal. There is no need to pursue many different goals. Everything is centered around that particular goal. Is it addressing what you had in mind?
Yes, sir. Because as you are also mentioning all these different stories from Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are different instances of births that people take
Yeah.
on the basis of the karmas that they have done in past. So this question came to my mind, that how is it really means how the karma yoga is working, and how the human birth is associated with the mukti, or attaining the perfect or the permanent happiness as such.
I understand. Let me just add to my previous answer because I think one aspect of what you asked probably was not covered there. See, the thing is that different people do different things not because they want to pursue different goals, it's because of their shraddha. Different people have different shraddha. Now, whatever I said is based on a particular shraddha which is present in the Bhagavatam and which is the way that I have understood along a particular line that I am following. Now, somebody else may have a different shraddha. They may not exactly understand it the way I understand it, and they may think that karma yoga is what they want to do. In fact, I know people like that. One lady who has been attending my class in the past, She's not here today, but she told me that, sir, you talk a lot about Bhakti Yoga, but I think I am not ready for Bhakti Yoga. For me, Karma Yoga looks the correct thing. And I explained to her the difference between Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. And as she then heard that and said, yes, sir, for me, Karma Yoga is what I want to do. Even recently, she came to me, she said, I want to go for my data collection. I want to again hear from you about Karma Yoga. Please tell me in my data collection, how can I have a Karma Yoga mentality and do my data collection so that my thesis becomes perfect and so on. So we spoke a little bit about what Karma Yoga is and so on. So now you see that lady's Shraddha is along Karma Yoga, and she, if I force her and say, no, no, you should do Bhakti Yoga, then obviously it's only going to harm her. It will only disturb her Shraddha, right? So the correct thing is, yes, if you have Shraddha in Karma Yoga, then that's a great thing. Not everybody has that kind of Shraddha too, right? Most people in this world don't have Shraddha that there is God also. So this lady accepts that there is God and she wants to do Karma Yoga because she can move towards God in that manner. So she has that understanding, and I encouraged her to do it that way. We spoke about it, and I said, do it. And of course, as I also explained, that bhakti includes karma yoga. It's not a completely distinct path in that sense. Of course, bhakti and karma yoga have their own independent legs, but whatever is done in bhakti yoga encompasses the key elements of karma yoga. It's not separate. But different people have different shraddha, and that is why we see different people apparently pursuing different goals, even on the spiritual path. Ultimately, they all want that spiritual perfection, whatever they understand as spiritual perfection. So we respect everybody. We respect everybody's individual orientations, and we have at least Sanatana Dharma has an attitude that we don't condemn anyone. Everybody follows what they understand, and they also accommodate others' understanding and respect them as they are. That's how it is.
Yes, sir. I got. Thank.
Ashita is also here today. Any questions, Ashita, from your
Good
side?
evening, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir, I think Chinmay has asked the question. Um, the first question that he asked, I wanted to ask that. And also, Chinmay's questions were like very interesting. And then you elaborated your answers. So, yeah, I think I'm good with it.
Ah, nice. That's nice. Okay. Good. If there are no further questions, shall we close for today? We can continue again. Whenever any of you wishes to connect with me personally, feel free to call me or message me and we can meet and talk about it. Good. And by the way, we can also inform Chinmay Ashita that we are going to start this class. If Chinmay wishes to join, if he is free, he can join. Chinmay, are you listening?
Yes, sir. I am there.
Yeah. So I'm going to start a formal course like you can say it's not called a course because it's not formally recognized by the institute, but it'll be like a course in which I'll take whoever is in the class through concepts in Bhagavad Gita, concept wise, not shloka wise, but we will do theme wise. For example, in 1 or 2 sessions, we may focus only on one particular topic like Atma versus the Shariram. In another session, we'll focus only on Karma Yoga, another session only on the three gunas of Prakriti. So, theme wise, we will go through different themes in Bhagavad Gita and try to understand Gita as a set of concepts and frameworks. So, the idea was that people like Ashita and a few of our friends who are doing their PhD now, they can try to get some ideas from here for their thesis. They might be able to borrow something into their research work. So anybody else, like you, for example, if you're interested or anyone else who's interested in an academic learning of Gita can also join in. So you can tell us anytime. You can message us and we will let you know the classes once we set up. Tentatively, we are planning to start on 22nd of October. Is that what we
Yes,
decided?
sir. 22nd of October from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Okay. 22nd October, 7:30 to 9 a.m. That's the date we have fixed as of now. And as of now, we are going to go by that date. And we'll have one class every week, every Wednesday. That's Wednesday. So every Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. once a week.
Sir,
If
I'll
that,
try to attend because it's on weekday, sir. There are chances that lectures would be clashing early morning. So
absolutely, yeah.
I'll try to attend when I'm free.
Yeah, it's your choice. Yeah, so if you wish to, you can join in, but you can connect with us closer to that date and remind us, then we can include you in the mailing group for that. Good.
Sure,
So,
sir. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. If there's nothing further for today, shall I go forward and do our Antya Mangalam? We can close.
Yes, sir.
ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमस्कार थैंक यू